in understanding and engaging with financial markets. Let's talk more about this from the Botswana Stock Exchange Market Development Specialist, Rekotla Sehwe, as well as from the BSC Market Development Assistant, Me Angela Habu Behwe. Habobihwe, right?
Yes.
Good. Guys, thank you so much for being with us on the daybreak. And let's start off with you. So tell us a little bit about this competition. 2013 is a long time.
Yes, it is.
How is it doing? But tell us what it is it's supposed to achieve.
All right. No, thank you very much. First and foremost, the Senior Secondary Schools Finance and Investment Competition is a strategic initiative that was introduced by the Botswana Stock Exchange to try to sensitize and educate the student community about the benefits of investing in the stock market at a grassroots level. So essentially what we're trying to achieve when we started this competition is that we're trying to cultivate a culture of investing at a very young age. On our side, as the BSC, we have a broader vision that we're trying to achieve through this initiative. And that broader vision is for us to increase the number of retail investors that are participating in our market. Right now, currently, if you've had an opportunity to look at the synopsis of our market or the composition of investors in our market is dominated by institutional investors. Now, that is a big problem for us as the Botswana Stock Exchange because that prohibits liquidity. In a market that is robust, a market that is very active, and a market that is very vibrant, it needs to be heterogeneous, where you have a well-balanced, diversified investor base, whereby you have equal number of institutional investors as well as retail investors. That is because if you have one type of investor that is dominant in the market, that means that the profile of your market will be encapsulated by the profile of that investor. Right now, because we have more dominant institutional investors, we have institutional investors that are more dominant than retail investors, we have a problem of liquidity in the market because institutional investors, they tend to have a buy and hold strategy where they tend to buy listed securities and then selling them off. It's a bit of a problem. So that prohibits trading activity. It's a problem because retail investors such as you and I, when we want to invest into shares of BSE listed companies, it becomes a bit of a problem. Or if simultaneously at the same time I'm looking towards selling my securities, I may find it difficult to find somebody that is able to buy them because we have a lower number of retail investors into the market. So essentially what we wanted to do, we realized that as the Botswana Stock Exchange, we need to educate the larger demographic about our product offerings as the Botswana Stock Exchange in a bid for us to increase the number of retail investors into the market. By virtue of doing so, we'll have a much more balanced, diversified investor base that will ultimately improve trading activity, that will ultimately improve liquidity, that will ultimately make our market more vibrant and indeed more attractive to investors that are also based outside of Botswana, looking at Botswana as a viable avenue. So this competition, we've been running it officially since 2013. When we were running it back then from 2020, it was facilitated in a physical format. Essentially, we invited all senior secondary schools around the country, asking them to submit essay submissions. Subsequent to these essay submissions, we're able to shortlist 10 schools on an annual basis that were able to partake in the competition in a quiz format. But as you are aware, in 2020, 5 years ago, globally, we were all dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. And by virtue of that, there were certain initiatives that were ultimately halted or prohibited because of issues such as lockdown, movement constraints, and the like. So what we wanted to do as the Botswana Stock Exchange, we wanted to introduce an innovative educational tool that will be a part and parcel of this competition. And by virtue of doing so, we introduced an innovative educational tool known as a stock market simulator, which is essentially a trading platform whereby it's a risk-free. It's a virtual trading environment whereby essentially you can access the platform and be able to learn different aspects of trading. So what we did with this tool, we incorporated it into the physical competition, and then ultimately going forward, since then, we facilitated this competition digitally, which of course my colleague will delve into it. But essentially, in a nutshell, just to sort of summarize my answer, this is an initiative that we brought forth to educate the public about trading in the stock market.
Right. Now,
when
we look at, I was listening to you talking about how you are reaching out to young people to try and get them to be financially literate. But we always hear negative stuff about getting involved in the stock market. Are we in Botswana, and yet you were also talking about retail investors who are not really there, are we talking about an issue that Botswana in general understand? I know you are talking to young people at the moment. Just briefly before I go to Habu.
I think one of the things that we've been trying to do as the BSc, we've been trying to be very aggressive in terms of our educational awareness campaigns. I think right now it's safe to say that over the years, the BSc has been, it's been looked at, in terms what you just justified, a negative perception, not because there's anything that's wrong with the returns that you're able to derive from the stock market, but because people just haven't taken that initiative to access information. Right now, currently, the BSc is one of the most accessible investment avenue in terms of penetration into the market. Today, when you look at other traditional forms of investment in Botswana, whether you're looking at breeding cattle, whether you're looking at property and other different avenues, you find that you either have to have a lot of capital to be able to get into the market, case in point, property, or there are other stipulating factors that might prohibit your participation. But with the stock market, it's for it's for anybody, regardless of social status as well as age. Whether you're a young person, you can get into the market, invest with 100 pula. You can invest into any BSc listed company, because it also promotes citizen economic empowerment, because the companies that are listed on the stock exchange are companies that you have access to their products and services on a day-to-day basis. So what we're trying to do right now is sort of bridge the gap, and this is one of the key initiatives that we're driving as the BSc to demystify the perception that Botswana have towards the stock market.
Now, tell us about the competition.
Okay, thank you, sir. In terms of the competition is open to all public and private senior secondary schools. So our registration commenced on the 18th of August until the 5th of September. And then the trading competition will now start on the 9th of September until the 3rd of October. And then in terms of how the students are going to participate, each school is allowed to have only one team participating on the competition. So this team is made up of it's made up of 5 participating students. So in terms of
from any level
Yes.
how do they get chosen from the secondary school?
in terms of how they get chosen, it's up to the discretion of the school. So
Right.
so they can either choose to have the Form 4s or the Form 5s. So it's entirely up to
Right,
them.
right.
Yes,
So,
and then.
go on. Go
And
on.
yes, and then in terms of registration, the students do not register as individual participants, but rather they register as a school. So in terms of how they're going to register, an appointed teacher is the one who's going to register on behalf of the school. So now for them to register, they go into the BSc website and then click on the Stock Market Simulator tab, and then we do have competition rules that will actually get them on how to register. So in terms of the competition, it's divided into 2 levels. We have the regional competition, and then we also have we also have the national level.
The national,
yes. So in terms of the regional competition, all the schools will start participating at regional level. So for the regions, we have divided them into 4 regions. We have the north, the south, the west, and the east.
That's easy.
Yes. So if at all you want to see where your school falls under, then you, all this information is available on the BSc website. Yes. And then so for the regional competition, the competition will start on the 9th of October, on the 9th of September until the until the 3rd of October. And then for the national level, the dates will be communicated after the regional competition ends.
But is it going to be this year?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It's also going to be this year. So it's probably likely to start a week after the regional competition ends. But we will announce the dates across all our social media pages.
Right.
Yes, and then in terms of how the competition will be facilitated, so an appointed teacher is going to create an account, which will be a trading account. So all those 5 students will be using this one trading account for them now to trade on the stock market simulator. So our market opens from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. So this is the time when the students will be able to buy and sell the different stocks and ETFs that are on the stock market simulator. Yes. And then in terms of now the prices for the regional competition.
First, before you get to the prices,
Yes.
how does one get to win? What do you need to do to win?
In order to win. Okay. So we are going to be given the schools 100,000 virtual funds. So it's virtual funds, meaning it's money that they cannot cash out and also they cannot deposit. So now with these virtual funds, they're going to be building their investment portfolio. So they're going to be buying the different stocks and then the different ETFs. And then at the end of the competition, which will be after 4 weeks, the school that has built a higher investment portfolio is the one that wins. So now we are saying we are giving you 100,000. Right. What can you do with this 100,000? How much can you actually build with this 100,000? Then at the end of the competition, the school that has a higher
most.
portfolio is the one that will be winning.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Anything else that people need to understand or schools need to understand? I take it that since it's been around since 2013, a lot of the schools understand what needs to happen. But is there anything that they need to know?
Okay, maybe just to highlight that the competition has been around since 2013, but then in terms of it being hosted in the simulator, this is the second time, yes. So we hosted it in the simulator last year, and then this is the second time that you're hosting it.
What did you find from starting to use the simulator to compared to before?
Okay, in terms of the simulator, it's compared to before. In terms of the simulator, we were able to actually reach a larger demographic of students. So more students had interest. They all wanted to see, how does this thing work? How does trading work and all that? So there was so much interest from students. And then maybe just to point it out that the simulator is not just only for the participating students. So if at all you're an individual, you're at home, you'd also want to learn how to trade, you can actually use the simulator without you competing in the existing competition.
Without you losing any money. That's exactly what I'm going to do actually from here. We've seen a lot of young people doing exactly what we are talking about, but not necessarily with the Botswana Stock Exchange. What are the pitfalls of getting involved in something like in trading when you are not well versed in it?
Well versed.
And also, what has been your assessment of which students seem to be more attracted to these kinds of competitions?
Okay, I think number one, in terms of the attraction of the competition, because like you highlighted originally at the beginning of our discussion this morning, the stock market has been looked at as something that is fairly quite distant. You know, a lot of perception-wise, people thought that it was catered for a certain demographic. But the beautiful thing about this thing is that we introduced it looking at how other markets were able to sort of increase retail investor participation by introducing this innovation. So one of the things that we've realized, because it's a virtual trading environment, there's limited risk. So essentially you are able to look at different elements of trading. You are able to adopt different investment strategies. The beautiful thing about the tool itself, it has various functionalities whereby it's able to assist you to track on performance of different listed products such as your ETFs as well as the stocks that you're invested in. So after you are able to sort of get in and you're able to sort of draw those different types of learning, you're able to now come across and also demonstrate them in the live environment. Now, as a young person, when I do approach a broker who is the agent that facilitates the buying and selling in the real market, I now have this knowledge behind my back as to how to be able to identify stock for me, when to be able to buy and sell, what type of investment strategies that I need to adopt, and to know when best to liquidate my assets for me to be able to make a profit. So it's a beautiful thing because you're able to learn these learnings from this platform risk-free, and then ultimately take those learnings and then adopt them in the real environment for you to be able to derive some returns into the market. In terms of the pitfalls, like she did highlight, we have seen the fact that the positive aspect that we have reached out to a larger demographic. However, you know, remote areas in Botswana still have issues of internet connectivity. So because of that, it's a prohibiting factor whereby some schools may want to partake, but because of internet issues, they're not able to access it because you need to have access to internet for that. So for us as the BSC, this is something that we're looking towards. Ultimately, we're looking at potentially bringing on an internet sponsor going forward so that ultimately when we do grow this competition in the next coming years, there's a sponsor that is able to assist all the schools in the country so that everyone has access to this platform and be able to reap the benefits from it.
What are the kind of students who do what kind of subjects really get attracted to this competition since 2013?
Yes, I think what we've seen in terms of the profile of students, it's normally students that are into business-related courses, from your accounting to economics, commerce. You have students that are also into mathematics that are a part and parcel of it. So certain schools, for them to balance it out, they will take different types of students, looking at some of their strengths and weaknesses, and then they're able to compose a team. Some of them even go above and beyond, picking students from Form 5 as well as Form 4 to build a team, promote teamwork to ultimately see what they can achieve.
Other than the team that gets chosen, how does this education filter down to those who are not part of the team?
who are not part of a team.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about this is because once your school is a part and parcel of this competition, your school is publicized, is promoted, because on a weekly basis, the schools that are participating in this competition are publicized on all our platforms. And the beautiful thing is, by virtue of being a school in this competition, everybody else, the student community around, gets to learn about this platform. They get to understand, why is it that we've been invited to partake in this? Why is this a benefit for me later on after I finish school? So the fact that we're able to induce that interest amongst the student community is what is very exciting. And then ultimately, after this is done, when we get to the prize giving setting, all the schools are invited. The school heads are invited, the student community is invited, the parents are also invited, so they're able to come and appreciate what we're trying to do as the Botswana Stock Exchange in terms of educating that demographic at a grassroots level.
When we look at the competition itself and how it has grown, I don't know whether it has really grown, but I'm assuming that it has grown if you're going to be including things like the virtual simulator. What, going forward, do you think students need to understand and need to learn, or what you have been able to pick up that you need to share with them?
Okay, I think in terms of what the students have to learn is that they should not just compete in the competition for the benefits of the prizes, but then they should compete in, for the benefits of the skills that they're actually going to learn from participating in the competition. So even if you participate and then you don't make it to the top 3,
right,
we are still considering you as a winner. Just because you entering that competition, you've actually gained immense skills that you're actually going to use for lifelong.
Great stuff,
yes.
great stuff. Now, you were talking about the prizes. What are the prizes?
Okay, we have the different prices for the different levels. So for the regional level, for position 1, we are going to be giving them 2,000 Bila share voucher. So each student will get a 2,000 Bila share voucher for them to go and buy shares in the real environment. And then for position 2, we are going to...
that's the student who has entered.
Yes.
So for each student, so it will be their own.
Yes,
okay.
yes, it will be their own. And then for position 2, we are going to be giving them a 1,500 Bila share voucher for position 2, and then for position 3, we are going to be giving them a 1,000 share voucher.
For each.
Yes,
right,
each student.
Yeah.
So let's say for a school, position 1, there are 5 students, right? So each student will get a 2,000 Bila share voucher
Right.
for that in position 1.
Right.
So the same as position 2 and position
Right.
3.
Quickly, Resewe, I've run out of time. Can you give us briefly, 30 seconds, your partnership with Stanbic Bank?
Yes. Our partnership with Stanbic Bank started about 3 years ago. Essentially, what we did, we wanted to have a partner that would be able to come and be a part and parcel of this in terms of promotion of financial literacy, as well as indeed retail investor participation. So Stanbic Bank at the time were one of the many interested entities that wanted to be a part and parcel of this great initiative, because they themselves are doing a lot in that space in terms of financial literacy. So what we decided to do in terms of partnership, on an annual basis, they sponsor the stock market simulator at a fee of 495,000 Bula a year. And this is a great step going forward, because essentially what they do, they come and they help assist in terms of the promotion of the competition, and then also at the same time that we're able to collaborate on mutual beneficial initiatives that are able to steer forth this specific sort of broader agenda that we're trying to achieve. So this is something that has been going on for the past 3 years. Hopefully, it is a partnership that we will continue as we grow the platform itself.
Let's hope that, and let's hope the platform does grow. But unfortunately, we've run out of time. We're going to have to leave it there. Botswana Stock Exchange Market Development Specialist Rekotla Sehwe, as well as Market Development Assistant Angela Khabo Behwe.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank you
for
so
coming
much.
through to the Daybreak, and my apologies for massacring your name earlier on. But we're going to have to leave it there. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's where we're going to have to leave it. Don't move. I'll be back shortly with the news.
Motopi Makaramavedu Road will help bring developments to the 2 villages.
A collaboration between private sector